Let's party. Good deal. Thanks. Okay. For the second time in 5 days, Birmingham Legion are back in Uptown and back on their home turf, trying to bounce back from a tough result on Wednesday against a Detroit City side that have been road warriors so far this season. Can the sunny weather bring the sunny smiles back to this Birmingham Legion side? We'll find out. USL Championship soccer starts right now. All right, so Suarez for Hamoda, straight swap. For the second time in 5 days, Birmingham Legion are back in Uptown and back on their home turf, trying to bounce back from a tough result on Wednesday against a Detroit City side that have been road warriors so far this season. Can the sunny weather bring the sunny smiles back to this Birmingham Legion side? We'll find out. USL Championship soccer starts right now.
Finally, some sunshine here in the Magic City. Welcome to Birmingham, Alabama, everybody, in our coverage of the USL Championship today, featuring Birmingham Legion FC taking on Detroit City FC. Up here in our press box at Protective Stadium, glad to have you with us, everybody. Alongside Morgan Copes, I'm Blake Gardner, and Morgan for Detroit City. They're on the road yet again to start this year against a Birmingham team that is trying to flush what they did on Wednesday.
They are, and Coach Briggs is going to want to come out and get a better result today and a better performance overall from his team after their 1-0 loss against Rhode Island on Wednesday.
Meanwhile, Detroit City coming off that 0-0 draw on the road in Connecticut. But these two teams have already seen each other this year. And the last time they met up in Detroit, it was a cold, chilly day up in Hamtramck, Michigan. But it was filled with fireworks. 4 goals between the two sides.
It really was. And as you said it is totally different today. It is hot and humid. So we'll see how this game plays out. But Detroit's going to try and get the ball wide. They're going to whip it in just like they did in the 20th minute here. That's their bread and butter. That's how they score their goals.
Darren Smith opened up the scoring, but less than 7 minutes later, the Birmingham Legion found a response. Ronaldo Damas found the back of the net to make it 1-1. Unfortunately, Morgan didn't stay 1-1 long.
It sure didn't. Just a few minutes later, again, back to the bread and butter, back to it works. Detroit get the ball wide, cross it in, deflection, goal. There you go, 2-1 Detroit.
So Darren Smith and Ben Morris both found the back of the net. It was 2-1 for quite some time after that, and it got a little chippy in the second half as well as the home side tried to hang on to their lead. But with 10 minutes to go, Birmingham found a second equalizer.
They did, and Kobe Hernandez-Foster whipped in a great ball. Coaches always talk about get it in a danger area, and that's a danger area. It led to a 2-2 result up in Detroit.
The only draw between these two sides ever. 2-2 the final there. We'll see what today's matchup has in store. When we return to the Magic City, we'll look at each side starting 11s plus the opening 45 minutes between Birmingham Legion FC and Detroit City FC right after this.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful.
Hi, this is Patayo.
And this is Elsa.
And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. I really like the marinated chicken breast because the spice comes in at just the right moment.
Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. It's highlighting the flavors in the chicken. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Real guests paid for their testimonials.
To our coverage of Birmingham, Alabama, taking on Birmingham Legion FC, Detroit City FC. Just about kicking off, but first, let's get a look at each side starting 11s. Morgan, let's start first with Danny Dicchio and Detroit City, who have made a couple of changes to their lineup that drew Hartford Athletic.
They have, and it should be an interesting couple of changes that should help Detroit continue on the road, to continue that momentum that they've had.
Another start for Dominic Gasso in midfield. The young midfielder impressed last time out. He gets rewarded with another start. Meanwhile, for Birmingham Legion, Mark Briggs making a couple of changes as well, including one very late scratch.
Absolutely. Hamboda is not going to be stepping in today, so Suarez comes in, like-for-like swap. But Lazo comes in, straight from Tulsa, straight to Birmingham, straight in the 11. And Trey Garthan also gets back into the starting 11 today.
So we'll see what this new look 11 can do compared to the lineup lost to Rhode Island back on Wednesday. Quick look at our referees today, led by Jeremy Shear, the Connecticut native. Gets his third USL Championship match assignment of the season. Guy who's also worked some US Open Cup this year as well. Danny Dicchio is the second-year manager of Detroit City FC. The longtime English pro was Mark Briggs' assistant at Sacramento Republic for 2 seasons. And of course, Mark Briggs, still the newly named manager of Birmingham Legion FC as of just a couple of weeks ago. This just his third official match in charge, just his second home match here at Protective Stadium. Second meeting of the year between Detroit City and Birmingham Legion, just about ready to get started. Birmingham Legion going with gold home here this afternoon. Detroit City in their dark red. And we are ready to rock for the second time in 2025. Birmingham Legion and Detroit City. The 8th overall meeting between these two clubs. A series that has been by and large dominated by Detroit. 5 wins to just 1 Birmingham win, with that 1 draw mixed in from a couple of months ago. Hardly opportunity generated as Ben Morris couldn't get everything behind that cross. Moses Mensah trying to clear it away from dribble. Ronaldo Damas thought he got clipped. Referee didn't agree. Detroit City, a chance to maybe maintain the pressure down here.
Yeah, within the first 30 seconds of the game, almost a carbon copy of the second goal that they scored up in Detroit unfolded as Williams was able to get down the right wing for Detroit and whip that ball across.
It's Reese Williams on one flank. Alex Villanueva on the other flank. He's got options arriving. Moses Mensah tried to clear that away. Reese Williams, though, got in front of him, just couldn't make clean contact. It's out for a goal kick, but still some early pressure supplied by the visitors.
Yeah, and it's going to come from the wings, right? It's going to come from Villanueva, and it's going to come from Williams, who are going to get up and get wide and whip balls in. That's the second cross already in the first, 120 seconds of this game, not even. Detroit averages about 18 a game, as many as a lot of teams in this league. And they're good at finishing. So you have to make sure you limit the ability for them to get wide and get service that is uncontested.
Shane Wheat heads that out of play away from Ronaldo Damas. It'll be a throw for Birmingham Legion, who, by the way, are just a bit short-handed here on this Sunday. Sam McElhatton got shown 2 yellow cards back on Wednesday. Birmingham played down a man for 45 minutes of that game. Of course, McElhatton not available for selection in this one, as is A.J. Patterson, the veteran defender. And the big story for Birmingham Legion, just moments before kickoff, Ramisa Moda, the 16-year-old starting center back, a late scratch after he was announced in the starting 11, unable to go. So Birmingham had to make a change before this game even got started. Thiago Suarez into the 11 for Mark Briggs in the Legion.
Yeah, and Suarez has already played against Detroit, so he'll be a little bit familiar with the game planning and how this game goes and how Detroit like to play. And so the only difference is now he's playing as a left center back instead of a right back, but a like-for-like swap. Suarez is more of a center back than he is an outside back, but both guys are teenagers, so we'll see how Suarez comes into this game and fits in alongside Kavita.
Goal kick coming here for Detroit City, and their starting goalkeeper, Carlos Herrera. Should be noted that Birmingham also without Dawson McCartney once again, who did not make the 18, not officially on the injury report, but not available today. 7th straight start in USL Championship play for Herrera. He was not the starting goalkeeper first time these two teams met. That was Carlos Saldana. But Saldana of late has been the cup goalkeeper for Detroit City. Herrera has taken over in their USL Championship matches, the 27-year-old Texas A&M international. Birmingham a chance to put their foot on the ball here. Their veteran Enzo Martinez has a new partner in midfield today, as Morgan said off the top. This guy, Edwin Lotso, just acquired from FC Tulsa a couple of days ago, inserted immediately into the starting 11. Sebastian Tregarthen threads it along. Jake Roof trying to get on the end of that, not quite going to get there. Good job shielding it away from him, from Devin Amu-Mensah.
That's a little flash of what Tregarthen can do. He's very, very, very shifty, can beat players on 1v1 circumstances, make them miss, has a great ability to just turn in a way on his first touch that opens up space for him. You saw it right there. Played a little bit too heavy a pass with Jake Roof, but that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
And a miss hit off the restart from Herrera, not on the same page with Reese Williams.
Yeah, Legion FC are pressing up very high. Detroit are going to try and build out of the back. They're going to make it very difficult for them. They've got 4 or 5 guys within 20 yards of Detroit's goal on a goal kick. So be interested to see how Detroit adapts to that. You saw that pass that they tried there. If it's on, if they play that, they could really cut out a lot of Legion FC's defensive capabilities. And if they can play 1-2 and play very quickly, they can unlock Legion FC.
Matt Van Oekel directing traffic on the other side of the park. The 38-year-old goalkeeper. Star number 9 here. This 2025 campaign. Working with Alabama native Jake Roof. Gets it right back to him. 5 minutes gone, just getting underway here at Protective Stadium. 8th overall meeting between Detroit City and Birmingham Legion. Lotso trying to play the big ball over the top, perfectly weighted to Trey Garthen, who brought it down with aplomb. Pasher right back to the youngster, Trey Garthen. Tried to get it through to Danny Trejo. Reese Williams cut that out. Mensa able to keep possession down here with the home side. Trejo chips it forward. Damas not going to get that.
That's a fantastic ball from Lazo. Big diagonal, 50-60 yard. Legion FC have missed a player who can play that pass consistently so far this year to unlock defenses. And when you can do that to whether it's Trey Garthen, Pasher, Danny Trejo out on the left, if you can get those guys isolated 1v1 out on the widths, it's great for Legion FC and difficult for defenses to
watch out. Damas off the restart dispossesses Herrera. Trejo couldn't put it on goal.
Again, you can see what Legion FC are trying to do to Detroit. They're trying to press really high. You can see Enzo Martinez off screen encouraging his teammates, get forward, get high. Damas does a great job of putting Herrera under pressure, wins the ball, just lifts it a little too high for Trejo to get on the end of it. But you can see Detroit immediately are just pushing out. And so now it's going to be who's going to win the second ball and how does the game get restarted from there.
So, no more playing out of the back on this restart. Herrera will send this long. Nervy moments there for the 27-year-old goalkeeper. Jake Roof, the Alabama native, heads this. Kavita trying to bring it down, working with Enzo Martinez, who is able to maintain it and get it out wide. Danny Trejo on that left wing once again for the Legion today. The veteran had a quiet night on Wednesday against Rhode Island. That's good defending 1v1 from Reese Williams. It's out for another Detroit goal kick, and Morgan gives us a chance to look at our keys to the match tonight. Let's start first with the visitors. How did Detroit City pick up another road result?
Just no mercy. When they go out on the road, they tend to score goals, and then they make games very, very choppy and very, very difficult to gain into rhythm. They have scored the most points so far this year on the road. And then for Legion FC, A for effort. They need to come out, and if you go look at some of the comments from the supporters, they felt that the team didn't try their best, even make an effort in some instances, and then they need to prevent service from the wings. Detroit have already gotten out wide a couple times and whipped a couple balls in. They need to make sure they at least contest every cross that comes into the box.
That's what the supporters thought. That's what Mark Briggs thought as well. His post-game media availability told some of the reporters that were standing around, said the pace was too slow. The media could have played. Mark Briggs could have played. It was that slow. It has to be better than that, is what he said post-game back on Wednesday as Rhode Island took all 3 points away from the Legion.
Yeah, he said the media could have played, so I actually got into the gym 3 times this week, found my old boots, cleaned them off, thought I might get the call-up, but unfortunately I didn't get that contract, that 3 or 4 day contract to come in and see what I could do. But let's be honest, folks, it wouldn't have been much.
It would have been maybe just a couple of minutes off the bench. Jake Roof has plenty of room to work with out the other side. Birmingham start to build through possession once again. Tyler Pasher, a couple of early touches. Taylor Suarez, the new center back here for Birmingham. Miyamoto scratched, working with Fanuel Kavita. Suarez, the man on loan from New England Revolution, who is now making his 3rd start here this afternoon. Suarez tried to progress it. Reese Williams cut that out.
Yeah, in Detroit, when they're playing in the defense, right, they keep a very, very good defensive organizational shape. They do a fantastic job of that. And so you'll see you've got Rutz and Smith, who are almost playing as a 2 up front. They're not allowing the ball to go into Lazo, which is where Legion FC want to get it into, the number 17. They want him to get some touches on the ball, but they've sandwiched him right now. And so it makes it very difficult for Legion FC to get that pass in. And there's an errant pass from Suarez, who's come into the game unexpectedly to start. Legion FC need to make sure that they are clean on the ball and tidy on the ball today. They were not clean on Wednesday night. Just technically, it seemed at times they struggled, like sometimes I do with words.
Good work from Suarez there, no nonsense. But before that clearance, a foul committed by Lotso, a free kick coming for Detroit City. Good sportsmanship from Lotso to help Ben Morris So just a little bit late. Morris still a little bit slow to work his way to his feet. Morris, one of the 2 goal scorers last time these 2 teams met. He and Darren Smith had the 2 goals for City. It's Morris's only goal so far this year after a 17-goal campaign a year ago. Or a 10-goal campaign, pardon me. 17 goals with Detroit City overall. This Detroit bench looking on as the visitors have their first set-piece opportunity of the afternoon. 11th minute. A chance to lob something in front of Matt Van Oekel. It's chipped forward. Direction of Devin Amu-Mensah, who got a head to it. Lotso a second head. Enzo Martinez clears it, but only as far as Williams. Williams cleared Trejo, but couldn't keep it in play. It's out for a Birmingham Legion throw. Legion fans, you can stay up to date on all the latest Legion FC news by following @BHM Legion on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, or downloading the Legion FC app, available in the App Store and Google Play. It's the Legion FC app and @BHM Legion, your home for all things Birmingham Legion FC. The restart, it'll be another Birmingham throw. Danny Trejo on the home side might have caught a break there. Trejo looked like he might have been the last man to touch it. Legion a little bit more early possession. Didn't have a ton of the ball back on Wednesday, of course, in large part because they played down a man for so much of that contest against Rhode Island. Rhode Island made it an excellent road trip. 3 points in Birmingham, 3 more in St. Petersburg against Tampa Bay Rowdies. Rhode Island FC collected half their point total so far this year in the span of about 4 days. Detroit City, meanwhile, have lost just 1 contest so far this year. Looking for yet another road result. This is their 4th consecutive on the road, although they had a little bit of breathing room. Lotso, the interception, lays it off for Thomas. Thomas looking for Trejo. Good defending from Michael Bryant, who got in the way of that last pass. Kavita brought it down. Jake Roof couldn't keep it down here, though, and now options developing perhaps for Detroit City. Also trying to keep the ball on that side of the park, and did. Well done from him.
From a technical perspective, it's easy to do the things that you're used to and you're instinctively good at when you step into a new team. However, when you start to communicate, you start to realize and trying to rely on your teammates and what their instincts are, that's the harder part when you step into a new team. You don't know how they're going to play.
Ball laid over the top. The flag stays down. Options arriving in the box towards the penalty spot. Mensah, the first man to it, just in front of Ben Morris.
Yeah, and that's too easy for Williams to get in behind, Villanueva to get in behind Jake Roof there and whip that ball in. He needs to make sure that he doesn't slip in behind him.
Alex Villanueva has been busy to start this first 13-plus minutes. Stoppage here as Edwin Lotso is holding his right ankle. Again, the newest member of Birmingham Legion, acquired from Tulsa just a few days ago. 26-year-old midfielder from Columbia. Was a key cog for Tulsa a year ago. Made 20 starts, scored a couple of goals. Had not featured in the starting 11 this year for Tulsa, so got a move to Birmingham. Immediately in the starting 11 here today. It looks like he's going to be able to continue at least for now. Another Detroit City throw coming from that deep corner. Villanueva gets it into Rutz, who gets it right back to him. Roof, some defending to do. Villanueva still with it at his feet, attracting a crowd. Martinez trying to dispossess him, and it looked like it went over the inline. Assistant referee didn't see it that way. Amu-Mensah keeps possession with Detroit. Detroit City can rebuild. Jay Chapman sweeps it back out. Devin Amu-Mensah. Detroit City a chance to put their foot on the ball a little bit. Reese Williams nowhere to go against Trejo. Dominic Gasso forced backwards as well. Over the top, Kavita. First head to it in front of Darren Smith. Birmingham can continuing to apply a little bit of pressure. All the way back it goes to Herrera. He was a bit quicker to get it off his feet this time with Thomas closing down. Quarter hour in the books here at Protective Stadium. Blake Gardner, Morgan Copes, glad to have you with us here this afternoon, whether you're watching locally on My 68, across the country on ESPN Plus, or listening to us on Sirius XM FC. Birmingham Legion and Detroit City, two Eastern Conference foes, one of whom needs some points. Birmingham Legion just 6 points from their first 8 matches of the year. Made some big changes already this year. They've changed managers, out Tom Sohn, in Mark Briggs. They've made changes just this week. Brought in Edwin Lotso from FC Tulsa. Loaned out Luca Dorado to forward Madison in USL League One. Trying to find the formula that gets them back on track. Catch Detroit City side that has been a very good one to start 2025. Trejo trying to keep this in play, could not. It's going to be a Detroit City throw.
That's actually really good work, part of a pattern that you would see in training. So ball comes from deep, goes into the center forward, and Damas, he does a fantastic job and lays the first time ball off for Enzo Martinez, who tries to play it wide to Trejo, but just mishits it and just hits it out of bounds. Unfortunately for Legion FC, it doesn't come off, but that's a great pattern. And Damas hasn't consistently been able to lay those balls off for a Pasher or Martinez to walk onto and play into a teammate. And so to see it not come off and for Martinez to hit it out of bounds, it's got to be.
Garthen working with Tyler Pasher. Trey Garthen couldn't keep it at his feet. A foul and a free kick given. It's a foul all the way. Referee hadn't stopped play just to see if Detroit City had anything on there on the counter. They did not. Fans, you can now enter the Prinks Tires Tailgate Kit Sweepstakes for a chance to win a prize pack worth up to $3,000. Scan the QR code on screen to enter today. Suarez not convincing with that clearance. Smith trying to get around him, and so Martinez to the rescue. Might have gotten a piece of that shot. Villanueva tracks it down. Still defending to do for the Legion as Detroit look for a goal scoring chance. Villanueva serves. Kavita got ahead to it. Williams collects, but couldn't get anything behind that service. Didn't clear Enzo Martinez, trying to break with possession. Couldn't get it to Pasher. Bryant hits it only to the feet of Danny Trejo. Now Birmingham can play.
I'd like to see Trey Garthen, when he gets that ball right there, just turn and face to Villanueva and run straight at him. Make him defend you. You've got an opportunity to go. You have some support up front, so take it. Take the opportunity to go and get forward.
Good intervention there from Morris. A collision there around midfield. Referee says nothing there, play on. It'll be a Birmingham throw.
Yeah, Gasso was not happy about it. Trejo went and got stuck straight in on that tackle. No foul called. Both players get up wondering, why in the world, did you not call a foul, or how in the world is that not my ball? Trejo feel like he got clattered, which he did, but, credit to Gasso, he came in and he did win the ball. Just came through and then leveled Trejo.
Excellent move there from Mensa to find Martinez. Couldn't quite get it back to him.
Yeah, that's another pass from Enzo Martinez that hasn't come off. He's not been in sync with the guys that are around him, and he's visibly frustrated with himself. He knows that he can do better, and hopefully he'll be able to, for himself, he'll be able to get more into a rhythm here. But you can see Legion FC pushed up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys within 30 yards of the inline here, going to make it very difficult for Detroit to play out.
Detroit City are going to try to play out of the back. Bryant's along the touchline. Williams able to keep that in play, but his next pass behind Rutz. Again, Birmingham able to win the ball back. As the Legion trying to rebuild once again, trying to find some goal-scoring opportunities that were few and far between on Wednesday. They fell down 1-0 early on. And played down a man as well. That's excellent from Tyler Pasher. He might have a shooting lane. He does. Damas collects, and a save made by Herrera. It wouldn't have mattered. Damas had the flag go up against him, but still a phenomenal reflexes stop from Carlos Herrera.
Yeah, fantastic save, and that'll help Herrera grow into confidence in this game, even though it wouldn't have mattered. As a goalkeeper, you have an opportunity to spring into action. He does here, and Pasher hits this ball, doesn't catch it as cleanly as he would have liked. You wonder if Damas would have let it go had it been on target, but Herrera makes the save, even though it doesn't go on the score sheet. From a confidence perspective, that's fantastic for a goalkeeper.
Carlos Herrera's made 11 saves this year in his 6 starts. He's kept 3 clean sheets. It's a Detroit City side that, as you said, has been an organized defensive group by and large. Kept a clean sheet last time out against Hartford. A 2-2 contest against Indy before that, and then kept another clean sheet in a 2-0 victory against Rhode Island FC. Got to go all the way back to March 29th to find the last Detroit City defeat. 2-0 at Louisville City. Last defeat in the league, I should say. Lotso, a hard challenge from behind. Foul and free kick given. So again, he's locked up there, this time with Jay Chapman. Lotso going to get a bit more of a stern talking to this time from our referee, Jeremy Shear. Sets up another Detroit City set piece opportunity.
No surprises here. This game is going to get physical. It's going to be the team that's able to manage the ability to go with the ups and downs of the flow of this game. It is going to be very choppy, especially if Detroit score first. They are happy to sit in and defend a 1-0 lead until they have to come out of their shell.
So midway through our opening 45, scoreless so far. Detroit City trying to change that with Ben Morris and Alex Villanueva taking a long look at this set piece right in front of the Birmingham bench. Villanueva, an in-swinging serve, a good ball delivered, headed away by Suarez, who got decleated for his troubles. Birmingham Legion wanted a whistle somewhere in there, didn't get one, trying to build out of the back. Lotso plays it off of a red shirt and out of play for a Birmingham throw. That was courageous from Thiago Suarez, who's certainly got some height, the 20-year-old. Went up high to win that ball in the air. Unfortunately paid for it. Came down hard, but looks to be all right. Moses Mensah lobs it back into play. Damas got hit from behind. He's fouled. So another free kick coming here for Birmingham. Fantasy USL on CBS Sports Network continues on May 28th with a Western Conference doubleheader. San Antonio FC take on FC Tulsa at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, followed by Las Vegas Lights FC and Phoenix Rising FC at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 Central. Catch all the action on CBS Sports Network May 28th. It's just 10 days from now, a national TV doubleheader USL Championship. Featuring the Western Conference. Got 2 Eastern Conference foes going head-to-head this afternoon here in Birmingham. A place that Detroit City has had an awful lot of success. Detroit City 3-0 in this building, including a 1-0 victory here on this turf a season ago.
This game is always very close in terms of the numbers of goals that are scored. Nobody has won this game by more than a goal, but there's only been 1 draw.
So far scoreless between these two sides. Neither side has been able to find a big-time goal-scoring opportunity just yet. Detroit City has managed just 1 shot so far. Shot count of 3 for the Legion. Nothing on target yet for either side. Williams on the flank again. Brought that down well. 1v1 with Mensah. Williams got the serve away, but nobody at the back post.
And that's going to be I believe the 3rd cross that Williams has put in. Villanueva's already got 4, and Morris has got 1. So that's what, 4 plus 3, 7. That's 8 crosses already so far in this game. So Legion FC, again, they know what Detroit's going to do. They have to make sure they can test it.
Pressure on the wings for the Legion. Moses Mensah and Jake Roof, the fullbacks once again today for Mark Briggs. As Suarez's touch is too heavy, gave it away, and he brought down Williams. This is a free kick and could be a yellow card as well. Right now, Jeremy Shear looks like it's just going to be a foul with no booking offense, but this is well within shooting range for the visitors.
Villanueva is already coming over with his left foot. And you've got Morris with his right foot on it. Be interested to see who takes it. If it's me, if I'm standing over the ball, and I'm either one of these guys, or if I'm choosing who's going to hit it, I think this will probably be Villanueva. Try and whip a ball in. That'll be right at the 6 at the middle of the goal. It'll have some bend towards Matt Van Okel's goal, and if it goes untouched, it'll end up in the back of the net.
3-man wall for the Legion of Trejo, Damas, and Pasher. Lefty Alex Villanueva. One hand up in the air, waiting for Jeremy Shear to give him the go-ahead. Morris leaves it. Villanueva towards the back post. Kavita got ahead to it, as did Mensah, only as far as Devinamu Mensah for Detroit City. Another ball served in, dealt with by Lotso. And Trey Garth in an emphatic clearance.
And sometimes that's okay to do because it gives you an opportunity. Now you get out, you get your defensive shape back together, and you have the ability to go and try to win the ball higher up the field from the opponent as opposed to trying to take a risk and build out of the back in that situation. You know, Legion FC are fine to set their lines, you know, about 40 yards from the Detroit goal. So, but they have to make sure that they remain compact because the middle of the field is where you can get beaten, as well as allow for the ball to get into a guy like Chapman who can then spray it wide for Villanueva and for Williams.
Dominic Gasso on the turn, does connect with the aforementioned Jay Chapman. Canadian back in midfield for Detroit City once again today. Pass just a bit too tall for Morris. Martinez trying to get a boot on it and does. And connects with Tyler Pasher, who's got a little bit of space. Pasher on the run, out wide for Trey Garthen. Can he track that down? No.
And that's disappointing. You know, that's a circumstance where if you're a Legion FC fan watching this game, or just a neutral watching this game, you want to see a guy like Tyler Pasher get on the ball, who has the ability to take players on, but then he does this smart thing and he lays the ball wide, and Trey Garthen is not there. Trey Garthen doesn't see it. Trey Garthen doesn't look for that through ball, and doesn't make the effort to stay with the play and keep up high, and that ball just rolls out harmlessly for a Detroit throw.
Ricochets all the way back to Fanuel Kavita. Birmingham once again will build possession from the back. Stanley Trejo is forced back to the feet of Thiago Suarez. Birmingham fans, if you're looking to grab some of this season's Legion FC merch to wear to the next home match at Protective Stadium, you can check out all the new gear now at bhmlegion.shop. Again, that's bhmlegion.shop. Approaching the half-hour mark here at Protective Stadium in Birmingham. No score yet between Detroit City and Birmingham Legion. Detroit City entered the weekend 5th in the Eastern Conference with 16 points collected. Birmingham Legion 10th with just 6. As Damas tries to pick up the pressure once again and is rewarded for it. He's fouled. And a free kick given away by Dominic Gasso and Detroit City. Jay Chapman got tied up with Damas, got caught in possession. And it was Gasso indeed. Got tied up with Damas. And Birmingham Legion is going to have a free kick that they play quickly. Trejo not going to be allowed to as the whistle blows. It'll be retaken. Free kick brought to you by Birmingham Freightliner.
Yeah, I think if you're a Detroit fan, you're upset that call did not go your way. Whereas if you're a Legion FC fan and it does go Gasso's way and Detroit's way, you're upset that it didn't go your way. So, you know, I think that could have gone, again, either way.
Turns into an attacking opportunity here for the Legion. Danny Trejo standing over this free kick. He's got 5 gold shirts right on the edge of the area, about to make their runs. Trejo too far, and Mensah headed it into the supporter section, so he concedes a corner, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, and that's a mental mistake for Mamu Mensah there. He's experienced enough. He's played in that position his whole life, or a majority of his life, and at almost 30 years old, you need to know to just shield that ball out of bounds, right? You don't need to go and head that ball away when you're standing on the touchline. And I'll also say Herrera needs to make sure that that ball, he tells his teammate that it's away. And so when you communicate that way, you save yourself from a potential defensive situation like a corner here.
Trejo once again to supply service into the mix and caught by Herrera.
That's really, really good hands from Herrera. Talked about earlier that save he made against Damas that didn't count. You grow into confidence into the game. You see that they're coming out, big, strong hands. That's really, really good goalkeeping work from Herrera.
So nothing comes of that passage of play from the Legion. Both sides with some early set pieces. Neither side has capitalized just yet. Jabbing back to the feet of Shane Wheat. Back three of Wheat. Mamu Mensah and Bryant for Detroit City today. Villanueva has full license to get forward and has done so. Good amount here in this first half. Gasso. Now to turn, connect with Rutz. And defending from Jake Roof to win it back for Birmingham. But he couldn't keep it in play. So it'll be a throw for Detroit City.
It's almost seems like it may have been the first, maybe second time we've called Rutz's name today. He's been really quiet. He's making his 100th appearance in the USL Championship. Jake Roof did that on Wednesday night for Legion FC. We have a little bit of a break in play as the players come over to get some water during our first hydration break of the season. And Blake, you talked earlier about the weather in Detroit when these teams met in March versus what it is today.
Couldn't be more different. Detroit City haven't played much at home, but they played Birmingham Legion at home a couple of months ago, and it was pretty typical weather for March up there. 30s, maybe touching 40 degrees with some breeze. At least the sun was out. Sun is out here today in Birmingham, which is news in central Alabama. Birmingham has been pelted by rain. Over 7 inches of it already this month, not including what we got earlier today. So it is warm and humid down on the surface below, hence we'll get a hydration break early in this contest. So far, no score between Birmingham Legion and Detroit City. And Morgan, as you said, Detroit City have not been shy about getting it wide and trying to serve it in.
That's right. And, we talked about them getting wide and whipping the ball, and that's what they like to do. They have to contest everything. Birmingham does a great job of high press, win the ball off of Herrera, the goalkeeper for Detroit, and Damas's cross is just too high for Trejo to stick it in the back of the net. He was on Damas's off foot. He tried to hit it with his left instead of his right. He just got underneath it. And Trejo doesn't jump as high as Damas would have liked there.
So really just the one chance for either side so far, is both coaches talking to their players about maybe some tactical adjustments for the final dozen minutes or so of this opening 45. Vince Birmingham Legion hits the road next Saturday as they visit Miami FC at 6 o'clock Central Time. Match can be seen right here on My 68 or ESPN Plus, and you can always follow along at BHM Legion on X for live match updates. The road trip continues on Saturday, May 31st with a Jägermeister Cup showdown with FC Tulsa, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central Time kick in Oklahoma for that contest. Legion FC return to Protective Stadium on Wednesday, June 4th to host Indy 11. Get your tickets to that match today, bhmlegion.com/tickets. So a 2-game road trip coming up for the Legion. This the end of a 4-game road stretch for Detroit City. Got a point at Indy 11, got a point at Hartford Athletic. Got knocked down to the U.S. Open Cup by Chicago Fire. What was a busy week, a stretch of games for Danny Dicchio and his crew last week, a 3-game over 8-day stretch.
Agreed, and they'll be feeling that today. And again, if they can get an early goal or they can get a goal before halftime, you will see Detroit do the exact same thing that Rhode Island did. They will break the game up, they will foul, they will scrap, and make it very difficult for any flow or any rhythm to get going in this game. That's a really good tough tackle from Jake Roof there.
Jeremy Shear was right on top of it. He said it was clean. It's shipped forward in the direction of Ronaldo Damas, who's going to win the foot race against Wheat, and he was brought down. So a free kick given to Birmingham, just a few yards outside the 18.
And it's a chance for Birmingham to get forward, whip a cross in here. We get a replay and look at it. Again, Tyler Pasher outside the boot, and then it's a foot race between Wheat and Damas, and pretty much everybody in the country knows who's going to win that ultimately. Wheat does a good job, but then, just barely catches his opponent's foot. Leads to a free kick.
You can see Enzo Martinez over there making the case that that should have been a yellow card caution. Might have had a point.
Very well could have been. But, Shear has kept his cards in his pocket so far today. He didn't card Suarez on the other end, so he's not carding on this side. So he's at least being consistent. If he's going to be consistent, there's not going to be many complaints. But if he's inconsistent, that's when you start to hear it.
Trejo delivers. It's headed away from trouble. Jake Roof runs it down. Pasher trying to turn back to where he's got all his gold shirts still around the 18. That is excellent defensive work from Jay Chapman to force him all the way back to Matt Van Oekel, who had some work to do to track that down.
Yeah, he'll have a word with Tyler Pasher after the game about the extra sprint that he had to do that was unnecessary.
So now Birmingham will regain their shape here. Free kick conceded doesn't come back to cost Detroit City. So we wind down this opening 45. 37th minute here in the Magic City on a humid, sunny day. After the rainstorms all passed through earlier today. Suarez back to the feet of his goalkeeper, Matt Van Oekel. Van Oekel, a driven serve to the central part of the park that's only collected by a redshirt. Wheat keeps it moving forward. Reese Williams out wide. 1v1 with Moses Mensah again. Williams got the serve away. Fanuel Kavita got ahead to it. Reese Williams has been awfully active on this right side of the park for Detroit City. That is typically the case. Williams has created 13 chances so far this year. That's top 10 in the USL Championship. Villanueva, first time serve. Kavita had to be there, otherwise Rutz was going to get there.
Certainly. I want to back up just a little bit. A moment ago when Matt Van Oekel gave that ball away, you didn't see it on screen, but what happened is all of a sudden you see Enzo Martinez literally racing out of the back, trying to get forward to get back in the defensive position because he's not expecting his teammate to give the ball away there. That's why taking care of the ball is so important. If you're a young player listening at home, out of the back, building out of the back, the last thing you want to do is give the ball away because your teammates are expecting you to have it, which allows them to get into more advanced positions.
First corner for Detroit City is whipped in. Moses Mensah heads it away. Wheat's able to bring it down. Thomas clips it out of play. See if Detroit City aggressively keep numbers forward. No, they'll regain their shape here on this throw.
Saw both Coach Briggs and Coach Avila for Legion FC get off the bench and had their hands in the air. I'm wondering if they were signaling to Matt Van Oekel, hey, you need to come and claim that. You need to be strong. You need to take control of your six-yard box when balls come that close in.
Birmingham looked like they might have had a counter-attacking chance there, but Trejo's pass off target. More defending to do for the Legion. Rutz tried to get it back to Chapman and Morrison there. Couldn't quite get there. And Trey Garthen turns the corner and is brought down, and this will be our first yellow card caution of the afternoon. Brought to you by Rubio Law Firm.
Yeah, and rightfully so. That deserves a caution, right? That's a professional foul from Rutz. He knew exactly what he's doing. Trey Garthen had beaten him. He shows you a little bit more of that shiftiness that we've talked about. And when you do that, people call it a professional foul, and players are happy to take a card in a lot of situations when something like that happens because you know that you're about to get countered, you know that you're in big trouble, and so you'll take that card to allow your team to get back and get their defensive shape.
So, Connor Rutz, first man booked today. Moses Mensah looks long down the flank. Ronaldo Damas, 1v1 with Wheat. Danny Trejo to the rescue as well, but Wheat holds him off. That is well done for the veteran Shane Wheat. guy that knows Mark Briggs very, very well. Wheat now in his 7th year in USL Championship, spent his last 2 with Sacramento Republic. A throw here for Detroit City with less than 5 minutes to go in our opening 45, plus whatever stoppage time we might have. Fan soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Both sides looking for a breakthrough here. Final stages of this opening 45. Detroit City building once again through the wings. Reese Williams able to bring that down despite the contest from Mensah. Bryant back to him. Morris unable to turn. Lotso fouled him. Birmingham Legion not a huge fan of that whistle, but another set piece coming for Detroit City.
Yeah, plenty of groans in the crowd after that call, but we'll get a look at it right here. I don't think there's any complaints there. Not sure he gets much of the ball. Gets a lot of Morris in that situation, who's now standing over the ball with his teammates.
So another opportunity for City to get numbers forward in and around the 18. A half where neither side has been able to create much from open play. Set pieces could loom large.
Yeah, I would expect the same service we got last time. This is almost a very similar area to where Kobe Hernandez-Foster whipped in that ball that was headed in as an own goal in Detroit. Villanueva needs to whip in a similar ball here.
Villanueva delivers. Devin Amu-Mensah collects edge of the area. Amu-Mensah gets around Roof, fires, and just missed the frame.
Amu-Mensah had the opportunity to be a winger and a goal scorer in that moment, and he looked like he had done that before. Gets the ball, gets it down, shifts Jake Roof, gets it back onto his right foot, and nearly wraps his foot around that ball, just enough to put it into Matt Van Oekel's far post. For Legion FC fans, they'll be happy and breathe a sigh of relief that that ball went wide.
Pretty good effort from Devin Amu-Mensah, a guy who's just been an absolute warrior for Detroit City FC over the past few years. Missed the first 3 games of this year, but has started every game across all competitions since then. He's rapidly approaching 100 appearances for Detroit City across all competitions. Didn't miss opening the scoring by too much. 44th minute here in Birmingham. Shot count 3 apiece so far between these two sides, but neither goalkeepers had to make an official save yet. Mensah is forced backwards. Wheat. Smith nods it along. Direction of Villanueva, who's held at bay by Roof. Trey Garthin wanted a whistle, didn't get one. Instead, it's out for a Detroit City throw. New ball lobbed in. Fan Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
That's something that you can't see on the screen while if you're watching from home is the amount of movement off the ball that Detroit is doing and the amount of shifting that Legion FC and communication that Legion FC is having to do right now. Typically, in the modern game, you only have a center back, or excuse me, one center forward, a true number 9 to deal with if you're 2 center backs. But Detroit, on the other end, they have Rutz, they have Moore, Smith, and Williams, who are all pushing forward, almost playing as a little bit of a front forward. Williams, of course, is staying very, very wide left, right? But Morris is tucking inside a lot of times, adding 3 players for Lazo, Kavita, and for Suarez to deal with when they have the ball. Now Villanueva can come forward as Morris comes inside, but there has to be so much communication between the defensive unit for Legion FC. We talked about Lazo coming in And the technical side is not the hard part that can translate to every game, but it's the tactical side, right? You have to know which player you are expected to pick up from a tactical perspective, and your teammates have to do a great job of communicating that to you.
So far, so good in that regard. Birmingham has kept things clean at the back for the most part. Likewise, though, for Detroit City, who want to continue asking questions to this Birmingham back line. Villanueva thought he was brought down. Referee said no. Lotso won it clean. And what a ball pinged over the top in the direction of Danny Trejo. Trejo touches it around Bryant, through for Damas, who's shielded away by Amu Mensah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there's fans that are screaming for a penalty right there. No chance that was a penalty. Amu Mensah does a fantastic job of running with Damas. But I want to talk about Lazo for a second. Lazo wins that ball off of Villanueva, and immediately, the second he had that ball on his foot, he pings a 50, 60-yard diagonal ball over to Trejo, who thrives in the opportunity in the position where he can go 1v1 with the defender. You saw him make Bryant miss, and then he was out after him, and then he tried to slip in Damas. Unfortunately for Legion FC fans, he wasn't able to get on the end of it. But you can see how quickly this Legion FC can counterattack if you let them.
Already a minute into our minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time, brought to you by UAB Medicine. Let's see if that's the last real opportunity either side has in this opening half. Detroit City rather content with where things are. Passing it back and forth around the back. Amu Mensah waiting for some pressure. Chips in the direction of Rutz. He was able to turn the corner. Rutz serves, top of the box, nobody home, except for Edwin Lasso in a gold shirt. Lasso sends it deep again in the direction of Damas. Wheat won the header. That might be all we have left in this opening half. There is Jeremy Shear's whistle, and 1 half in the books here at Protective Stadium. Both sides able to keep their composure, keep their shape. Neither defense given either attack much in the way of goal-scoring opportunities. We head scoreless into the halftime dressing rooms here at Protective Stadium. Don't go anywhere. Coming up at halftime, plenty to get to, including a look around the USL Championship on another busy weekend, plus some first-half highlights and stats. That all when we return to Protective Stadium in our coverage of the USL Championship for the Magic City right after this.
Time to hammer down. Season tickets on sale now.
That spice is 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Hi, my name is Khadijah, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick of the chicken. It's just the right amount of heat. It gets me excited and definitely wanting more. And then, pro tip, add that cilantro lime sauce. I couldn't get enough of that sauce. It cools it down. If the sandwich is at 100, the cilantro lime takes it to 200. It makes me want to, tell all my friends and family.
Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Welcome back to our coverage of Birmingham Legion FC, here with standout midfielder Kobe Hernandez-Foster. Kobe, appreciate you taking a little bit of time, man, and congrats on a positive result last weekend. What did you take away from that result?
Yeah, I think we just controlled the game a lot. I think we kind of just managed the game, kept the result.
You're a guy that likes to play with the ball at your feet. Your team had a lot of the ball, like 70% of possession across that 90 minutes. What's it like when your team has that much possession in a game?
Yeah, I think it's good. Obviously, the weather was kind of hot, so just having the other team run and us keeping the possession was just us controlling the game. So
when you look at what it's been like since you've come into this club, obviously last year had a big time year. I think you were top 15 in the league in terms of chances created. The start hasn't been the same here this year, but what's it been like here over the last week or so? New coach announced, you got some guys coming back from injury. What's the vibe been like of late?
Yeah, I think the vibe's been positive. I think we've just been sticking with one another. I think that's all we have to do going in week and week out. So, yeah, just being positive and try to do our best to get wins.
What have you taken away from Coach Briggs' first couple of training sessions here in charge?
Yeah, I think the standard's very high, and I mean, I think that's what we all need to become a winning team. Obviously, our goal is making playoffs as we did it last year, so it's just doing that and then going from there.
And the group's starting to get a little bit healthier as a whole as well. What's it been like to have guys like Danny Trejo back, Ronaldo Damas fully fit in 90 minutes? You're starting to get some of those core pieces back here over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they're very key players for us. I think once they're in form and they get their goals and their assists, they'll be unstoppable.
You're a guy that played a ton of minutes last year. You've played a similar load here to start 2025. I know you were just getting a massage earlier. Are the massages the key to playing that many minutes?
Yeah, I think it's just keeping your body healthy week in and week out. Obviously, there's a lot of games. We're not even halfway there, so I think it's just about being healthy every week and, yeah, just playing all those minutes.
No doubt. Well, Kobe, appreciate you taking a little bit of time for us. Best of luck here the rest of the season, man.
Thank you.
More from our coverage of Birmingham Legion FC here on My 68 right after this.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Focus! Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Who wants that smoke? You want that smoke? Look, I ain't playing, I'm saying this ain't a joke. There ain't no bluffing, I'm calling you out for show. It's either all in or nothing, I go for broke. Who wants that smoke?
This week on USL All Access, Knoxville's new head coach, Ian Fuller, is off to an undefeated start in the league. He joins us to talk about all the good things going on in Knoxville. We'll also talk about a disappointing week in the Open Cup for the USL Championship, including what's wrong in Tampa Bay. It's all coming up this week on USL All Access on SiriusXM FC.
Thank you to all 10 Welcome back to our coverage of Birmingham Legion and Detroit City here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Railroad Park not too far away from the other side of downtown. Protective Stadium, home to Birmingham Legion FC. So far scoreless, 0-0 between Detroit City FC and Birmingham through one half of play today. It's a 2-game slate in the USL Championship. That's all that's left here in Week 11. The other match coming up here in about an hour or so, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Lexington SC hosting FC Tulsa. Tulsa have been one of the best in the West so far against the Lexington side that is desperate for a result, hunting just their second win here in this 2025 campaign. Across the rest of the USL Championship, here's what the table looks like after a busy Saturday. New Mexico United continue to lead the way as we look at our Brinks Tires performance standings. 6 wins and 3 ties for New Mexico United. already talked about FC Tulsa. They've already got 13 points from their first 8 contests. Looking for more here a little bit later today. Over on the Eastern Conference side of things, Morgan, a slow start for Birmingham Legion. They've got some work to do to get above the playoff line.
Yes, they do. And it starts with today, right? You can get a win. You can jump back above that playoff line, above Pittsburgh. It's still going to be tight. It's still early in the season. Let's reset, right? We're not even a third of the way through the season so far. There's still plenty of time for Mark Briggs and for Birmingham to work to catch teams like Detroit, who they're playing today, and Rhode Island, who they played on Wednesday, right? They've got an opportunity, all teams do, to right the ship and go forward and try and make a result out of the season.
Charleston Battery continue to lead the way in the East. They've won 5 straight and have dropped just 2 contests so far through the 9 matches they have played. Some news and notes from around the USL Championship. Of course, we talked about how wild the West has been. Coming into the week, only 6 points separated 2nd and 11th out there. Over on Through the End, 7 games are going to air on the largest Spanish-language sports TV network in the United States through July 5th. That includes Detroit City and Charleston Battery. We'll battle it out at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time coming up next Saturday. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings to find all those matches coming up on Through the End. Here in Birmingham, we are through a half between Detroit City and the Legion. And Morgan, it was pretty even both ways. Neither side generated as much as they would have liked. And in the end, 0-0 feels like a fair result from what we've seen so far.
But edge to Detroit, right? We talked early on in pregame about how they like to get the ball wide and whip it in. They've put in 13 crosses so far, and that is, if they do that again, they'll hit almost 30 crosses in a game, and that's a lot to defend when you have Suarez and Kavita who are there, right? Suarez, a late addition to the 11, so they need to make sure that they are contesting every single cross that comes into the box.
We'll see if that cross count continues to climb or if Birmingham can respond and maybe find that killer goal-scoring opportunity that has evaded them so far against an organized Detroit City side. Legacy Arena not too far away from Protective Stadium, but sunshine today, don't need any covering. We'll be back for the second 45 minutes between these 2 Eastern Conference foes right after this.
We are Altec, Birmingham-based since 1929. We set the gold standard in equipment and services that connect us to the power and communications we all need. From bucket trucks to digger derricks, the equipment we make helps our customers and our communities dig deeper and reach higher. We're a team. We're a family. We're looking for someone just like you. Hammer down and team up with Altec. Learn more at jobs.altec.com.
Welcome back to Protective Stadium, home to Birmingham Legion FC, who right now are not at 0-0 with Detroit City FC. Before we get the second half started, let's get a look at some highlights from the opening 45 minutes. So far on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, had some rain earlier. That's all gone. Nothing but sunshine on a humid day. And Morgan, Detroit City got started quickly. Alex Villanueva was heavily involved in that first half.
Yeah, Legion FC were a little lucky to not give up a better chance there, but Damas wins the ball for Herrera, crosses the ball over to Trejo. Best chance of the game so far, easily. But you can see Detroit are getting the ball wide and they're whipping stuff into the box.
Alex Villanueva and on one side, Reese Williams on the other have been active on the flanks. Meanwhile, Sebastian Tregarthen's been nifty when he's been able to get on the ball. He forced the first yellow card of the contest from Connor Rudd. Steven Onwumensa right here had the best opportunity for Detroit City.
He certainly did, and the center back of all players gets the ball wide. And then this one right here, Legion FC need to try and do some more of this. Lazo's a great addition to this team because when he wins the ball, he looks forward as quickly as he can. Now, ends up not being an actual chance on goal, right? Damas gets felled by Alba Mensa, who does a great defensive job here. But the key there is when Lazo won that ball off of Detroit, he immediately looked to unlock Trejo and get him in a wide 1v1 position up against Bryant. And he was able to show what he's able to do and slipped Damas in potentially to almost score the game's only goal.
So both sides still searching for the goal that opens the scoring. Detroit City is going to make a change before we get this second half going. Connor Rutz is the only man shown a yellow card in that first half. His afternoon is done. Rutz out. Jessiel Cedeno is in. The 25-year-old from Ecuador made the transfer from Oakland to Detroit City last July. Is on here to start the second half. Cedeno's been a guy who's featured in the starting 11 quite a bit this year for Detroit City. He's scored once, he's assisted once. He's created quite a few scoring chances as well. But he comes off the bench for the second time in as many games. Just 11 minutes last time out against Hartfield. Plenty more here this time out against Birmingham Legion. Meanwhile, for the home side, no announced changes at the break, and that has now been confirmed.
I'll be interested to see as this second half starts. If I'm Danny Dicchio, I tell my guys, do exactly what you're doing. You guys are doing what works for us. We're getting the ball wide. We've got 13 crosses into the box so far. We just haven't gotten on the end of one of them yet, but that will come. That would be my message if I'm Danny Dicchio. If I'm on the other side and I'm Mark Briggs, I'm saying, guys, the pace of play is still too slow. We are not able to get forward, get the ball to our attacking players, and then support them as well to allow us to retain possession and build out of the back and build into the final third to create chances. One thing I think is going to be very interesting as this game plays out is how long can Lazo go? Can he go a full 90 minutes? I don't think he's played a full 90 minutes for Tulsa so far this year. He's been coming on as a substitute, comes over to Birmingham, straight into the starting 11. It's hot, it's humid. It's probably the hottest and the most humid it's been so far this year, particularly for Lazo coming from Tulsa all the way to Birmingham.
Second half starts now. Detroit City in their dark red, Birmingham Legion in their Lady Electric Gold here. So we get the second half off and running. Lazo right on cue. Back on the ball for Birmingham and looking over the top for Ronaldo Damas. The flag is going to go up for offside.
I don't think there's any arguments there, well, except for maybe Mark Briggs, who's in the assistant referee's ear asking. There's no way he was offside. But again, you beg and you argue for every call that you can try and get. And eventually maybe the referee starts to think maybe he is wrong, right? Fourth official immediately comes over and is having to work with Mark Briggs, say like, hey, come on.
So Detroit City back on the ball here. Second half just getting underway. Alex Villanueva able to bring that down, touched it around Jake Roof. Still Villanueva, he scores! Alex Villanueva received the long ball with aplomb, brought it down, found the back of the net, and a minute into the second half, the visitors have the lead.
What a fantastic individual goal from Villanueva. That first touch was impeccable. Credit his teammate. I can't remember who was it played. I think it may have been Wheat that played that. Wheat or Bryant played that big diagonal ball across over Jake Roof's head. Who, positionally, Jake Roof, does he put himself in a spot where he can get to that ball? I don't know. But Villanueva's first touch was immaculate. Takes it down off his right foot, straight into the path. Here comes the ball. You don't get to see the first touch, but boom, right around him. Second touch, just kills the ball just a little bit, and then boom, with his off foot, near post, Matt Van Oekel didn't have a chance.
First goal of the year for Alex Villanueva, the 22-year-old from California. Guy who came up in RSL and Seattle's academies, then went to Orange County. Now in his second season here with Detroit, the guy who is known for his service and setting up goal-scoring opportunities. That time he finishes one himself. Goal brought to you by AT&T. And Detroit City now have an advantage here on the road, and Villanueva's looking for more. He's got options developing. Delivers it all the way through. Smith trying to turn, trying to leave it for Morris. It's Williams who misses the frame.
And again, Villanueva finding a way to get on the ball out wide, going after Jake Roof, but looks like we're going to get a second look Here's this ball from, it is Wheat, who plays that big diagonal ball. Look at this first touch. Boom. Sets himself up. There's space in behind. Jake Rufus almost out on the island as a defender there. And part of that has to do with the formation that Detroit is playing. Fanuel Kavita cannot be closer to Jake Roof because he has to stay touch tight to Smith, who's central. And then Suarez also has to stay touch tight to, it's now Cedeno, who's sliding up in the forward position, right? So some tactical things are transpiring for Detroit that allowed that goal.
Here comes Birmingham now. Tyler Pasher running at defenders. Damas a chance. Damas just wide. His first opportunity denied by Herrera, right back to his head, and Damas didn't have time to redirect that second effort on frame.
Yeah, that's better from Legion FC. They're building out of the back. They're getting Tyler Pasher in on the half turn, and he could slip this ball in. Damas does a good job getting there. Doesn't lift it like he would have wanted to, but Herrera immediately off his line does a fantastic job coming out as a goalkeeper, making himself big. That deflection goes straight to Damas, and fortunately for Herrera and Detroit City, this game remains 1-0 to them.
So after neither side created a killer goal-scoring chance in the first half, less than 5 minutes into the second half, it has been a back-and-forth affair. Detroit City, with that early second-half goal, have the lead. So Martinez brings that down for Birmingham. The Legion a chance to get forward again. Well done from Tyler Pasher and Enzo Martinez in tight spaces. Birmingham on the chase. What for them, unfortunately, has been a theme the early part of 2025. That's now just once in 9 games this year. Birmingham has scored first. You got to go all the way back to the opener. It's Loudoun United to find a game where Birmingham was the first team to find the back of the net. And in that game, they scored first but conceded just a couple of minutes after. Samu Mensah plays that into the 5th row. It'll be a Birmingham throw. So Birmingham going to have to play from behind yet again to try to rescue points against a Detroit City team that has done very, very well at collecting points early part of this campaign. Jake Roof, the man to throw it in for the Legion, looking for a little bit of help and find some with Pasture. Trey Garth in a serve that only finds the waiting arms of Herrera.
And again, notice Herrera, he caught that ball cleanly, but of course, Detroit's MO, when they get ahead, they're going to kill the game. They can effectively kill. They're one of the best teams in the league at doing it. They can kill a game off in their sleep. They just know how to get into your head, frustrate you. They're able to, again, chop the game up and make it to where you can't get into any sort of rhythm here.
Trey Garthen able to get on the end of that. Thomas trying to cut it back. Didn't catch it cleanly. Bryant clears it away from danger. But an excellent look there from Sebastian Trey Garthen, who made a long, long run down the touchline. And no whistle there as tumbling out of play went Dominic Gasso. He got a little bit of a bump from Martinez, but not enough. Another look here from Trey Garthen's setup.
And that's better. Damas is going to like to see that, especially because he thrives off the service. Granted, he can score goals by himself. He's got plenty of pace and can do that. But all center forwards like to get service.
So free kick here given to Birmingham after Ben Morris clipped the back of Edwin Lasso's leg. Dominic Gasso getting a stern talking to from Jeremy Shear. And some words, not for this play, but the one prior. And now it looks like Birmingham has given the okay to restart things. Stefano Kavita puts it down and immediately finds Tyler Pasher. Birmingham trying to get Pasher back on the ball here early in this second half. Mensah closed down by Trey Garthen, who's the last man to touch it over the end line for a Detroit City goal kick.
Now that ball went out 10 seconds into the 53rd minute. Let's see how long it takes for this ball to get played back in. So Herrera's already picked it up. He's wasted 20 seconds. He's finally set it down after 15. He played it quicker than he normally does. But if he goes and he tells his teammates to push up, that's another 10 or 15 seconds that are going to just whittle off the clock, right? Here again, in the 33 seconds into the 53rd minute. Ball gets whistled for a foul. Mensah says, hey, Herrera, why don't you walk over to take this, okay? Now, we've played the entire 53rd minute, and the ball has been in play for a grand total of, let's see if he actually gets it in before the 53rd minute is up. The ball has been in play for less than 10 seconds in that entire minute. We almost wasted an entire minute, or a minute of this clock went by. That's how Detroit kills a game off, and that's how they do it. And it's so hard as a team trying to fight back against them when you're a goal down, because they are so good at doing that.
That's the task Birmingham have in front of them now, as Tyler Pasher took a big shot. He's fouled.
And here's the thing. Enzo Martinez loves talking to referees. Usually when it's a foul against him or his team or whichever, when they didn't get it. But what Enzo Martinez needs to do is he needs to get in the referee's ear. He needs to get in Jeremy Shear's ear and say, look, ref, they've wasted an entire minute because the ball's been out twice. Okay? See, look, there's another chippy little foul from Detroit. Again, we've now finished the 54th minute, and the ball's been in play for maybe 20 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds, right? There's been 2 or 3 fouls. The ball's gone out a couple times, and it just kills the flow of the game. It makes it so hard to battle back and get in any sort of rhythm as a player.
Thiago Suarez connects with Pasher once again, who's got a red shirt on his back. Mensah tracks it down out the other side. The Legion trying to build some rhythm back into the second half. What a flurry of activity to start this second 45 minutes. Alex Villanueva, splendid goal to start things. Birmingham nearly answered in short order as Trey Garthen's hit right on the edge of the area. The referee says no. It's collected by Herrera. And Trey Garthen still down in the 18-yard box. And we're going to need to see what happened here.
I mean, he's dangled his leg out there. He's got to call a penalty there. The referee has been put in a situation where, look, Villanueva catches him right in the midsection. After you see this replay, you know that, you know, Trey Garthen didn't just go down, right? He needs to go, and he needs to, the referee needs to call a penalty there. Right, he can't get help from his assistant referee here, but look, boom, foot is high, he can't see the player, he doesn't get any contact on the ball. At minimum, it should be a foul, right? At minimum, it should be a foul. That would be a foul anywhere else on the field of play. It needs to be a foul there, and it should have been a penalty, right? But now, 2 or 3 more minutes have gone off this clock, and now we restart the game.
Trey Garthen is good to continue after he was slow to get up. Detroit said he'd catch a massive break. At the very least, you could make the case that was a foul just outside the box, but certainly looked like it could have and perhaps should have been a penalty. As Danny Trejo can't keep that in play. It'll be a throw for Detroit City. So an action-packed first 11 minutes of this second half. City in front by 1. Thanks to Alex Villanueva. Now Ben Morris operating on the turn. Out wide to the goal scorer, Villanueva. Defended by Trey Garthen. Now Roof. Villanueva running out of real estate. Morris keeps it alive as Detroit City recycle. Chapman. Morris trying to turn, not able to do so. Filters back to Mensah. Down the line, Chapman kept his run going. Chapman serve, headed away by Kavita. Not too terribly far, though. Trejo able to bring it down. Even despite that contest from Reese Williams, and now the Legion a chance to break. As they try to get numbers forward. Enzo Martinez, an excellent first touch to keep the move going. Now wide, Trey Garthen. Villanueva got there first, and it's last touch by Trey Garthen, says the AR on the near side.
Watch it. I would fully expect Villanueva is probably going to put this ball down. He's going to let Mensah come over and take the throw.
Villanueva.
I am wrong in this instance, but.
And now, Jeremy Shear has shown a yellow card to Mark Briggs. So the first Birmingham booking of the afternoon is their manager. Yellow card brought to you by Rubio Law Firm. Mark Briggs not thrilled with the way the whistles or lack thereof have gone here early part of the second half.
And that's another 45 seconds that ticked off the clock after that ball went out of bounds.
Birmingham do have it back on their foot now. Dozen minutes passed in our second 45. What a ball from Lazo to Martinez, who couldn't quite bring it under control.
And technically, Enzo Martinez has the capability to do that. He just needs to do it. He simply needs to be expecting that ball from Lazo. There's a little bit of unfamiliarity. Didn't know he's going to make that pass, but still.
Williams, not a bad serve, but Matt Van Oekel makes a clean catch.
It's a little bit about what Briggs and Avila were talking about when that cross came in the first half. Van Oekel didn't come and collect it, so he came and he collected that one, which is what you want, and you restart the game and you get it going again.
Trejo couldn't connect with Pasher. Again, Birmingham unable to win possession in that crowded midfield. Cedeno redirects it out wide. Reese Williams pops it back to Michael Bryant. Fans, you can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on Through the End, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Eastern Conference rivals Detroit City FC and Charleston Battery will battle it out on the field at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. Next Saturday, May 24th. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Detroit City would love to end this road trip with another victory. Extend their unbeaten run in USL Championship play. Just one loss so far and looking for more. What a ball. Almost got all the way through to Darren Smith. Just one little touch prevented that from getting through to Smith with a chance on goal. Now Danny Trejo and Moses Mensah working it back the other direction for Birmingham. As we approach the hour mark, Mark Briggs and the Legion have not officially made a change within the 90 minutes. They made a late scratch at the start of the game. Thermisa Moda out, Thiago Suarez in. Trey Garthen, lovely touch to flick that in the direction of Jake Roof. Birmingham keep the possession going. Ronaldo Damas couldn't get to that. Amu Mensah got there first. Again, Villanueva, calm, cool, collected under pressure. He has played an outstanding game. Birmingham continuing to pick up the pressure. Amu Mensah forced to get rid of it. Roof got a boot to it. Mensah got a head to it. Bryant can usher that all the way to the corner.
You see Legion FC are pressing very, very high. They're trying to make it difficult for Detroit to play out. They're trying to win possession up high up the field in their own attacking third, and to be able to get the ball and immediately go forward and be in a scoring position.
An hour gone, less than a half hour to play here in Birmingham. Detroit City 1, Birmingham Legion 0. Alex Villanueva's goal just a minute into this second half. The difference so far between these two Eastern Conference foes. Williams and Morris trying to dance through traffic. Suarez sends it into the seats. Fans, if you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM seat 157. North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. For those who are joining us from Sirius XM FC channel 157, glad to have you along for the ride. Been a tight contest throughout. Now Detroit City trying to salt this one away. Already up a goal as we play on in the 62nd minute.
So just an interesting stat that we have up here. So the total time of this game, obviously we're 62 minutes, almost 62 minutes finished. The ball has been in play. The game has been in play for almost 32, for about 31 minutes. So about a half of the time of this game, the ball hasn't been in play. It's going to get worse as it goes on, as Detroit are able to, earn fouls, take throws, goal kicks, and take their time any chance they get.
Mensah lays it off into Martinez, serves toward the penalty spot. Weed got a boot to it. Also keeps it down here with Birmingham as the Legion keep inching gold shirts further and further into the attacking third. Trey Garthen racing to the byline, got the serve away. It's cleared away, but again, only as far as the gold shirts.
It's good pressure from Legion SC, but now they got to find a way to unlock a chance and unlock a goal.
Martinez tried to lob it in the direction of Thomas, who lost his footing as he was locked up with Wheat. It's out for a Detroit City goal kick.
Yep, and went down at the 34th second in the 63rd minute. Off screen already, you see Lasso is down. Okay, we talked about, is he going to be able to go 90 minutes? He's made it 63 in the 63rd minute, and it looks like he's probably going to have to be substituted. It looks like he may be cramping or maybe having an issue with that ankle that he got kicked earlier. So, again, immediately, Kobe Hernandez-Foster runs over. He's putting on a top. Looks as though there may be another player for Legion FC that may be making a change. But, again, Legion FC need to keep the ball in play, need to keep things going. Detroit are going to do everything that they can in order to kill this game off.
This functions as a de facto hydration break for both these two sides. And Eric Avila, Birmingham assistant, having words with Sebastian Tregarthen over near the bench. It does look like Kobe Hernandez-Foster is getting ready to come into this game momentarily. And he is likely the change for Edwin Lasso, whose debut in a Legion shirt might be coming to an end. 26-year-old Colombian midfielder making his first start of the year for both Birmingham or FC Tulsa.
And to be fair, Lasso, I think, has probably been the best player for Legion FC. He's been the most creative. He's been able to unlock unlock Detroit so far more than any other player. So him coming out of this game won't be a welcome sign.
Right now he's trying to convince Mark Briggs he can keep going. He'll have to be waved on by the official here in just a moment. Meanwhile, it looks like Detroit City have prepped their own change that they're going to make here in just a few moments. Tez Diouf, Senegalese 25-year-old on loan from Lexington, set to make his 5th appearance off the bench this year. Herrera sends away the goal kick. We're back underway and immediately puts it out of play, out for a Birmingham throw. And we'll see if Detroit make that change now, and they will. So Tez Diouf coming on, making his 5th appearance of the year. And making way is going to be Darren Smith. One of the best goal scorers in the USL Championship this year. Darren Smith, his 7 goals already this year. Just didn't get much in the way of touches today.
Yeah, we didn't call his name much. You didn't see him get on the ball. Again, in Detroit, we're doing a good job of getting the ball wide and whipping crosses in the first half. This second half, they haven't had much of the ball, but they haven't needed it because they took that goal advantage. Again, when Detroit get ahead, they like to sit in and play on the counter, and they don't need to go and get a lot of crosses in to score the goal that they're looking for.
Free kick given and a yellow card shown here to Edwin Lasso, brought to you by Rubio Law Firm. Tough challenge there, and that might be just as much for that challenge as well as the accumulation of fouls here this afternoon. Tough stamp there on Reese Williams.
That's a tough tackle, but again, it allows for Detroit to milk more time off this clock.
Cheer point from earlier about the quiet afternoon for Darren Smith. Opta has him for just 13 touches for his 60-plus minutes today. So, momentary stoppage as Williams is to his feet. Looks to be all right. Now Detroit puts it back into play. 67th minute here at Protective Stadium in Birmingham. Detroit City 1, Birmingham Legion 0. Edwin Lasso continues on for now for Birmingham, but has to be careful. He's already got a yellow card caution now. Birmingham has already played down to 10 men once this week when Sam McElhatton, the Australian defensive midfielder, got shown not 1 but 2 yellow cards. First half back on a Wednesday in Birmingham's defeat at the hands of Rhode Island. Villanueva lobs it back into play. Diouf trying to turn against Kavita. Not able to do so, but Villanueva helps him out. Nevertheless, that help was offside.
Yeah, moments ago before that ball came back into play from the throw-in, Tyler Pasher came over and made a tough tackle and kind of slammed his hands together. You could feel the excitement and the eagerness of him to like fire his teammates up and get them going to show a little bit more passion. I think he was talking to Tregarthen specifically. He's like, look, get stuck in. Let's go find some momentum. Let's get into this game. Let's go find a result.
See if the Legion do get a jolt of energy here late from an equalizer. Thiago Suarez picks his head up, looking over the top. Damas made the run. Damas will get there in front of Wheats. Lays it off for Moses Mensah. Mensah driven serve. Didn't get all the way through traffic. Came right back to him. Pasher. First touch, Tregarthen. Tregarthen couldn't keep it close to him. Lasso heads it back in the mix. Enzo Martinez found the back of the net, but after a foul had been given in a free kick to Detroit City and a yellow card for dissent shown to Enzo Martinez.
I'd be interested to see the replay here. I didn't see the foul. I thought Enzo Martinez did a good job of shielding off Amu Mensah, but again, we'll see the replay in just a moment. But on Lazo who made the foul apparently, but you could see over on the sidelines the reaction from the bench. I don't know where the foul is there. I got to be honest. Martinez gets to the spot, blocks off Amu Mensah. Amu Mensah kicks through Martinez, but wins the foul. I'm not sure how that played out in Jeremy Shear's mind there, but again, Enzo Martinez actually does a fantastic job of getting to the spot earlier, blocking off Amu Mensah, and then going through and putting the ball in the back of the net, but still, the referee bails out Amu Mensah, and Detroit there for the goal that could have led to a 1-1 result here, or at least, as we go into the last 20 minutes of this game. And now that's two big calls that Jeremy Shear has made thus far. You have the non-penalty call against Tregarthen. Now, you could have said maybe it wasn't a penalty, maybe it was on the line, right? But it certainly was a foul. Nobody would argue that. And then here, Martinez has a great opportunity, does a great job, makes the extra effort, gets to the space first, and then gets called for the foul.
So Birmingham still searching for that equalizer in the second half. Trejo tried to lay it off to Martinez. Redirects back to Lasso, switches things out the other side.
I will say this, the second half has been much, much better from Legion FC in terms of going forward. The ball is very crisp, the ball is moving very quickly. That service from Mensah needs to be better, right? That's the second service he's had, second chance service he's had in the past few minutes. The first one wasn't a great one. That one gets blocked off, right? So Legion FC are pushing higher up the field, getting their wingbacks in a more advanced position. I would see Stephen Turnbull as being a great option for Mark Briggs to come off the bench for Jake Roof, because Stephen Turnbull is a better outside back going forward. Jake is probably a better defender. Jake Roof is probably a better defender, but there's no questions to be asked. Turnbull can really whip a ball and gets forward very well.
Suarez over the top. Carlos Herrera, a commanding catch. Detroit City withstand more Legion pressure for now. Advance USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Legion are prepping Kobe Hernandez-Foster to come on at the next available moments. 72nd minute here at Protective Stadium. Good work from Danny Trejo defensively there. So Martinez plays the big switch to Tregarthen. Tregarthen around Villanueva, couldn't get around Amu Mensah. It's out for a Birmingham throw, and now that change will be made. It is Kobe Hernandez-Foster on, the 22-year-old from Los Angeles, California, now in his second season here with the Legion. Heard from him at halftime, a guy that played a ton of minutes last year for Birmingham. And Hernandez-Foster will come on for Danny Trejo.
And you're seeing off camera, Sebastian Tregarthen is switching over to the left side of the field. Looks like Tyler Pasher is going to slide out wide right. Kobe Hernandez-Foster is going to slide into the middle in that space that Tyler Pasher has vacated since he's gone out wide.
So we'll see if Hernandez Foster has a say in the way this game shapes up down the stretch. Tregarthen, top of the box, couldn't quite get it all the way to Martinez. Hernandez's first touch is with his head. Tregarthen, what a turn. Just couldn't quite thread it through to Martinez. And it's ushered over the end line and out for a goal kick. Martinez went down holding his face. Looked like he might have taken a late shot from Chapman or Wheat. They were trying to usher that out of play. It's hard to tell from our vantage point whether there was any contact here at the last. Oh, and a little arm up there from Bryant, although I'm not sure he knew where Martinez was.
And I'm not sure there was really much physical force in that contact. Enzo Martinez, I think, goes down too easily for me. But, again, make the referee make the decision. Enzo Martinez is trying to do what he can to earn a call for his team. But I don't think that was going to be the one that was going to ultimately earn the call that he wanted.
Haruki Yamazaki has grabbed his shirt. He is going to come get Ben Morris. Played his college soccer at Oral Roberts, the 24-year-old from Japan, is on for his 4th appearance in USL Championship play. Marcello Polisi will come on as well, and he will replace Dominic Gasso. So the Canadian Polisi on, Japanese contributor Yamakaze on, replacing Ben Morris and Dominic Gasso. So 4 changes have now been made by Danny Dicchio in this second half as Detroit City tries to see out a potential road victory. Carlos Herrera puts this back into play. Fans, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download it now. Gaming console of your choice. Tez Diouf couldn't keep that alive. It'll be a Birmingham throw. So we approach the final quarter hour of the afternoon, turning evening here in Birmingham. Matt Van Ogle, the Birmingham goalkeeper, sends it away.
Again, he has not had much to do since the goal has gone in. And, you know, Legion FC have done a good job of getting on the front foot and getting after Detroit. You know, I wonder how much of that is, you know, what you talked about at halftime and the changes that you make versus, you know, okay, now the game has changed. You've given up an early goal in the second half, and Detroit has gone and sat into a shell since then. Hernandez Foster getting on the ball for the first time and not up to the speed of the game. Super slow, gives up possession there. Not what Mark Briggs is going to want to see.
Tregarthen, excellent individual effort. He was fouled from behind. That has to be a free kick, and it is.
Good for him. He immediately got back into play. Sorry to interrupt you, Blake. You know, Legion FC need to do that. As soon as that ball, they have a chance to get it, referee needs to get out of the way there. Enzo Martinez draws a foul.
And another yellow card coming here. This one's going to be shown to Jay Chapman, who was just a little late challenging Enzo Martinez from behind. Yellow card brought to you by Rubio Law Firm. Set piece coming here for Birmingham, brought to you by Birmingham Freightliner. So Chapman has been booked. Yellow card starting to come a little bit more here in the second half after a relatively clean first half.
We knew this game was going to get chippy at some point. It always does, because it's always a very close contest. No team has won by more than 1 goal in this series between these two teams. But Kobe Hernandez Foster, substitute, left foot on the ball. Mensah's also left-footed, so he's not touching this. I would expect him to kind of serve this and maybe look for Lazo or one of the other big bodies on the back post.
Hernandez Foster chips this over the top, and did Amu Mensah get a piece of it? No, he did not. Ushers it out of play for another goal kick.
And that's wasteful, right? You have the opportunity to whip in a ball with no contestation, nobody opposing you, nobody putting any pressure on you to whip that ball in, and you go and you hit it over everybody and out of bounds for a goal kick, right? And so we're going into a hydration break here, you know, with 10 minutes left to play after this. But again, you know, Birmingham have to push the issue. They have to get forward. They have to play quickly. They have to find a way to unlock this Detroit team who are going to be sitting in deeper and deeper and taking longer and longer the more time comes off this clock. Let's take a quick look at and do a refresh here. We talked earlier about how much time has been in play. So 62 minutes in, there was 32 minutes in play. We are now in the 78th minute, and it's been in play for 41 minutes. So Legion FC have done a good job of keeping the ball in play and forcing the issue to Detroit. But again, they need to make sure that that remains the same throughout the rest of this game, because they are starting to get in between the lines a little bit and find some pockets. Lazo has done a really good job of making incisive passes into the likes of Martinez, into the likes of Trey Garthen. Now they just need to find a way to get in, make a couple of quick, clean passes, and then unlock the defense and score a goal.
Coming out of the hydration break, Mark Briggs is going to make not one but two changes here. One of them is one, Morgan, you suggested earlier. Jake Roof off, Steven Turnbull on. 5th appearance of the year for Turnbull. The other change is going to be Preston Tabor Itaka, the 26-year-old from Cameroon, now in his 3rd season here with the Legion. He will come on to replace Sebastian Tregarthen. So Hernandez, Foster, Tabor Itaka, Turnbull. 3 changes so far for Birmingham in this second half. We are ready to go. The restart here out of the hydration break. Fans, Birmingham Legion hits the road next Saturday as they visit Miami FC at 6 o'clock Central Time. Match can be seen here on My 68 or ESPN+. You can follow along at BHM Legion on X for live match updates. Road trip continues Saturday, May 31st with the Jaeger Cup Showdown in Oklahoma as the Legion take on FC Tulsa. Game kicks off at 7:30 Central Time as Moses Mintz is clattered from behind. Legion FC returns home to Protective Stadium on Wednesday, June 4th to host Indy 11. Get your tickets to that match today, bhmlegion.com/tickets. 1-0 our score after the restart. Detroit City in front. 10+ minutes to play plus stoppage time.
That's a great ball.
Hernandez Foster puts it on a dime to Tabor Itaka. Tabor Itaka 1v1 with Williams for the moment. His cross blocked out of play and out for a Legion corner, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Interesting insight here. So 42% of the action has been in the Detroit City third. That means the Legion FC attacking third. Almost over 40% of the game has been there for the last 15 minutes.
The Legion have applied pressure. So far, Detroit hasn't broken. The serve, it's a good one. Roof got a piece of it. The second rebound is in. Birmingham Legion have tied things at 1. It's Fanwell Kavita who pokes it home on the doorstep.
Yeah, I'm not sure who got on the end of the first one. I think it might have been Jake Roof. Herrera makes a great save. Again, you see some of the chippiness. Mensa was involved in the first game as well. But the thing is, Detroit, look what they're trying to do. They're literally trying to walk the ball to the field. They know now they're under the gun. They're under pressure. Now this is a completely new game. Now you're going to see Detroit have to come out if they want to get 3 points. If they're happy with the point, they will continue to do what they've been doing. But if they want, if Dana Dicchio and his boys want to go for a result, go for a win on the road against a team in Legion FC who have given up goals late, right? They are going to have to come out of their shell, which will be interesting, which means this game will open up a little bit more. But again, Detroit taking their time, okay? We see the ball whipped in for the substitute, Hernandez Foster. It was Suarez who gets on the end of it, and then Kavita right there. He has a history of actually scoring against Detroit. He scored the game winner, and the only time that Legion FC have beaten Detroit.
Fanwell Kavita scores. We're tied at 1. Kobe Hernandez Foster called for the foul, and he'll be shown a yellow card.
Yeah, and I think the referee's trying to get control of this game. I think that's a harsh yellow card to give for a player who's just come on and stepped into the game. I don't think it was malicious. I don't think there was a lot of force in it. You may say that it is an actual foul, fine, but don't card him on the very first one. I think the referee is trying to make an example of Kobe Hernandez Foster and show that he still has control of this game, which, to be fair, if there was a foul, it should have gone the other way because Kobe Hernandez Foster wins the ball and has control of it.
So Hernandez Foster is shown a yellow card. And a chance now for Detroit City to jump back in front via this set piece. Tez Diouf giving this a long look along Jessiel Cedeno, the two substitutes directing traffic. 83rd minute here in Birmingham. Brand new game. 1-1 our score thanks to a poke home from Fonwell Kavita. The rebound of a corner.
Yeah, I was going to say Legion FC need to be careful here because it almost looked like it was 2v1 with Pasher against Cedeno and Juf there.
Juf sends it into the box. Not a bad effort there. The back post from Wheat, but it goes wanting.
Again, if I'm Mark Briggs and I'm the guys on the sidelines, Eric Avila, coaching this team, I'm saying, look, come on, boys, let's go. We have them on the ropes. Let's go. Let's deal the knockout blow. Let's get forward. Let's keep the pace of this game high as we have done for the past 15 or 20 minutes. We eventually got rewarded with a goal. They've done a good job there. They need to play this next ball. It needs to go immediately to Tyler Pasher. Not take 1, 2, 3 touches. Get it to Pasher. Let him have the 1v1 opportunity to go at Villanueva.
Hernandez Foster switches to the other side of the park. Mensah. Birmingham continue to bring bodies forward into the attacking third. It's been the story of this second half, but now scoreline different from what we've had most of this second stanza. Turnbull gets his first real touches since coming on. Tabor Itaka couldn't keep it against Damu Mensah. Villanueva thought he was fouled, might have had a point. Referee let that one go. Lasso underhit that pass.
That's a hospital ball from Lasso. He needs to do better there. Not a ton of pressure.
Mensah connects with Diouf, and out the other side come Detroit City.
Yeah, and nobody had pressure on Diouf there. He had the ability to touch. He could have literally taken a knee and tie his shoe. There was nobody within 5 or 10 yards of him from Legion FC. I don't know where Kavita or Suarez are there, but somebody needs to be touched tight with the center forward.
Mensah couldn't get around Tyler Pasher. Damas could hold a play from the Legion striker. Pasher couldn't hit that big ball across to Tabor Itaka.
It was the right decision. It was the right ball to play in the moment. He was trying to unlock Tabor Itaka, and Tyler Pasher has both hands up in the air, and he says, I'm so sorry, Preston. I should have been able to hit that ball better, and I didn't. But you can start to see Detroit are coming out of their shell. Now they're entering into the...
What a move. Reese Williams gets around Mensah, lays it off, but Lasso is in perfect position. That was well done from Williams, nutmeg included.
You can see, again, Detroit are coming out of their shell, trying to get forward. They're in search of a winner, so that means there's going to be an opportunity for Legion FC if they can maintain possession, if they can go like right now. They've got an opportunity with the pace that they have on this team. They can counterattack very easily.
Pasher gets around one man, got hit by a second. That is going to be a yellow card.
Yeah, and again, Polisi, again, that's the professional foul that we talked about earlier with, I believe it was actually Rutz who in the first half had fouled Trey Garthen after he gotten spun. You'll take that card all day because now what was transpiring was Detroit had 4 or 5 guys back against 3 or 4 guys against Legion FC. Now they've got all 10 field players behind the ball.
Brought to you by Rubio Law Firm is our 7th today, the 6th in the second half. Tabor Itaka on the run, couldn't quite turn the corner with possession. It's out for a Detroit City goal kick. Birmingham fans, you can stay up to date on all the latest Legion FC news by following @BHM Legion on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, or downloading the Legion FC app today. And you can head to the Legion FC Twitter page or the X page @BHM Legion immediately following the final whistle to vote on who you thought has earned man of the match honors tonight. Kavita's got the game-tying goal as it stands right now. Edwin Lasso again a bit slow to get up after that challenge in the air.
He's feeling the heat. He's feeling the humidity. You can tell. Again, hasn't played a ton of minutes in Tulsa so far this year, but he is a player that is dangerous, can help teams. He has been fantastic for Legion FC. In my opinion, I think he's probably been the most impactful. He's unlocked the most for Legion FC. Nothing has led to a goal, however. In his position, his job is not to necessarily unlock goals, but unlock players who can create goals for their teammates and others.
First appearance in a month for Matt Sheldon. 32-year-old veteran defender comes on for the goal scorer Alex Villanueva here, the 87th minute. Last change Danny Dicchio in Detroit City will make today. Final few moments of the match coming your way. 1-1 our score. Second half that has been chippy, at times controversial. It's been filled with bookings. And our 2 goals. Kobe Hernandez-Foster onto the second ball. Turnbull joining the attacking third. He and Pasher operating in tight spaces. Pasher, Tabor Itaka trying to turn. Tabor Itaka got the cross away. Martinez, his shot blocked away. Good positioning from Polisi to turn Martinez away, and it's cleared all the way back to Suarez.
But again, get the ball off your foot. Suarez needs to find Lazo. He needs to find Hernandez-Foster. He needs to find somebody who can help unlock the defense of Detroit, right? If you're Detroit, you just need to sit in. You need to stay compact. You need to absorb the momentum that Legion FC is building right now and kill the game, right? So in this situation right here, here's a look at Tabor Itaka. Great little touch. He could have gone down there and maybe drawn a penalty, but good defending, team defending from Detroit, and then they build out of the back from there. But again, the momentum is still with Legion FC. So here's a chance for Detroit, though, to get on the counter.
Williams across the park. Van Okel off his line to come get it.
Yep.
Keeps it away from Cedeno and Yamazaki, who are both arriving, and rolls it out to Pasher to start things back the other way. Oh my goodness. Detroit City had 3-on-1 and couldn't capitalize. Lasso is fouled again and again, down in a heap on the turf. It has been a grueling effort for the man making his Legion debut today. Another look, though, at this.
Yeah, fantastic work from Juve here, and then it looks like it's Williams who plays that ball too far. But look, immediately you can see Tyler Pasher there. He gets the ball out to him, but then Tyler Pasher doesn't go at the next player he sees, right? The play slows down, and they're able to come back in.
Pasher goes at people here, but his shot redirects off his teammates.
He can score them from 40 yards away. If you're Tyler Pasher, that's the closest you've been to having the ball on your left foot in the position you like, which is cutting in from the right side. So no surprises he pulls the trigger there. He can score from that distance, but
Turnbull out wide as we approach stoppage time here in the 90th minute. Turnbull, another one of the substitutes trying to make a late impact. Pasher switches to the other side of the park. Picture perfect to Tabor Itaka. Sheldon out to greet him. Tabor Itaka on his favored right, top of the box. Kobe Hernandez-Foster just a little wide.
Tell you what, that pass from Tyler Pasher right there to unlock Tabor Itaka all the way on the opposite side literally is exactly what he wanted to do earlier, and he didn't hit that pass. He hits that pass, he gets pressed at Tabor Itaka, 1v1 with the outside back for Detroit. Tabor Itaka does a great job, shifts it onto his right foot, and then plays Kobe Hernandez-Foster. And if that ball doesn't bend at all, if that ball just goes straight through, it's 2-1 to Birmingham.
It is confirmed. 5 minutes of stoppage time, brought to you by UAB Medicine. We're 30 seconds into our minimum of 5. Points still very much up for grabs as we wind things down in the Magic City. Detroit City got the goal that gave them the lead just a minute into the second half, but virtually since that point, it has been one-way traffic outside of 1 or 2 instances. Also out wide in the direction of Pasher, doesn't quite get there as Yamazaki heads it into the ad boards. Hernandez-Foster plays it through to Damas. Damas kept his run onside, but couldn't get it back to Enzo Martinez. Damas trying to win it back and does so in that deep corner, drawing a lot of attention. It's out for a Detroit City throw. Minute and 30 seconds into our minimum of 5. Detroit City went from having full control of this second half to now trying to hang on for a point here late. Visitors with just 1 defeat so far this year. Would love to get another road result. They've been one of the best road teams, if not the best road team in the USL so far this season.
They've scored more points than anybody so far this year, so part of that is due to the number of games they played, but they're going and they're getting results. They're not losing, which a lot of times when you play, you want to get 3 points at home and get draws and the occasional win while you're on the road, and they've been able to do that.
Pasher back on the ball here with some help from Turnbull. Pasher Trying to get around Chapman, does so. He's on his right foot, and he couldn't get the service away in time before it got just over the byline. So a goal kick for Herrera in Detroit City. So we are now midway through our minimum of 5 added minutes. After a first half that was devoid a whole lot of opportunities for either side, the second half has not been that way. We'll see, is there one more opportunity for either team here late? As we enter in the 94th minute, Herrera sends it away. Kavita heads it away from trouble. Matt Van Oekel off his line, couldn't keep it alive. So Detroit City has a corner here.
This is where you really need to be switched on. You're very late in this game. It would be devastating for Mark Briggs and Legion FC to give up a goal here, but you have to stay switched on. You have to battle through the tiredness. You can see Detroit hasn't put the ball down, which means the second he puts this down, now there's going to be movement that's starting inside the box, which you can see players are trying to lose their marks, and then now he's going to whip this ball in.
Ball is served. Matt Van Oekel in a crowd makes the catch. A contested one at that. Big time play for the 38-year-old who's trying to get through all the traffic and restart play. Enzo Martinez collects. Working with Pasher once again on this right side of the park. 95th minute here in Birmingham. Pasher dispossessed. Reese Williams has had a splendid game today. He's held from behind by Turnbull, so he can't start and attack the other direction.
Yeah, and that's more of a card than the one that Kobe Hernandez-Foster had. Right, that was a professional foul. He absolutely stopped the countering attack for Detroit. Doesn't get punished for it, which if you're a Legion FC fan, you're fine with. But again, look, Detroit killing the game off. This will probably be the last time the ball comes into play. Amamensa's played it back further to Herrera, who's now going to, ping it forward. And so if there's a knockdown, this will be the last chance for either team, I would expect.
Well into the 95th minute as Herrera clips it towards the top of the box. Kavita wins the first ball and heads it out of play for a Detroit City throw. Perhaps one more opportunity forthcoming for Detroit City as Amu Mensah sends all the red shirts forward. He's going to try to take this throw long. Clearing the ad board away to create a little bit more space to throw this into the 18 at the very least. Amu Mensah heaves it forward. Hernandez-Foster got ahead to it, not much more than that. Suarez tracks it down in front of Diouf, and that is full time. Detroit City scored early in the second half. Birmingham answers late, and in the end, the points are shared tonight at Protective Stadium. 1-1 our final here in Birmingham this afternoon. And a result neither side is going to be pleased with. Detroit City had the lead for much of the second half, couldn't put it away. Birmingham Legion feel hard done. Probably felt like they were the better side for the majority of the second 45. But the points split tonight. Just the second ever draw between these two teams. We'll step aside from Protective Stadium and wrap it up when we return to the Magic City right after this.
What are you doing?
I'm installing fiber optic cables.
Why?
Fix problems before they happen.
Why?
Keep the power on.
Why?
So your nightlight can keep the monsters away.
There are monsters?
No, wait, no, wait.
Time to hammer down. Season tickets on sale now.
Both coaches sharing their thoughts on what occurred here today across 90 minutes. Our final, Birmingham Legion 1, Detroit City 1. So we welcome you back to Protective Stadium. Players from both teams talking about the match down on the turf below. It was a back and forth affair. A pretty quiet first half. Plenty of fireworks in the second half. But in the end, the points shared. Blake Gardner, Morgan Copes up here in the press box with you. And Morgan, as you look at our final stats of the night, what stands out?
You know, I think the second half was much, much better from Legion FC. I think a lot of that had to do with the tactical changes Detroit made after they scored that early goal. You saw them kind of sit into their shell. You know, Legion FC, even after that, they still went almost 30 minutes without a shot, you know, between the 50th and the 80th minute. So they finally get the goal that they were looking for in the 81st minute. But again, Detroit, very, very good at managing games when they get ahead.
Detroit City picks up another point on the road. That's now 17 points for them in the early part of this 2025 campaign. Finally, they get to head back home next Saturday on Through the End. Detroit City takes on Charleston Battery, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time to start there, before Detroit City heads back out on the road for a Jaeger Cup game in Maine, and then a trip to Pittsburgh to start June. Meanwhile, for Birmingham Legion, they've played the last of their home games here in the month of May. A road trip to South Florida, take on Miami FC coming up next Saturday for them for a Jägermeister Cup matchup in Oklahoma to take on FC Tulsa. And Morgan, now Birmingham Legion going to have to try to build something away from home.
Absolutely, and I don't believe they will have Lazo available for that game because he would have been registered for Tulsa in the Jägermeister Cup. So I'll be interested to see if he's available. My guess is he won't, but you know, go down to Miami. That's a team that they can beat, get a result against. Go to Tulsa, do the same, and then come back, sleep in your own bed, and then take on an Indy 11 team back at home.
So that's what each side has coming up for Birmingham Legion. They get a point, although they certainly feel like they could have gotten more in that second half. For Detroit City, another successful trip on the road. Another point collected, and still just the one defeat for Detroit City FC through their first 10 USL Championship matches here in this 2025 campaign. Detroit City trying to keep pace at the top of the Eastern Conference with the torrid pace set by Charleston Battery and Loudoun United in the early part of this year. It turned into a beautiful day here in Birmingham. Certainly didn't look that way at the outset. The rain, cloud, and shower and massive thunderstorm came through central Alabama, but as the fans gathered down on the turf below, and plenty of sunshine for a full 90 minutes this afternoon between Detroit City and Birmingham Legion. Alex Villanueva scored early in that second half to give Detroit City a 1-0 lead at the time. But for the second time in as many meetings between these two sides this year, Birmingham Legion find a late equalizer to share the points with their Eastern Conference foes. 1-1 our final between Birmingham Legion and Detroit City. Thanks for joining us, whether you watched on ESPN Plus or My 68 or listen to us on Sirius XM FC 157. For Morgan Copes and our entire crew here in the Magic City, I'm Blake Gardner saying so long from Birmingham, Alabama. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you next time for another edition of USL Championship Soccer.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.